Okay, now from the foreign coverage, we are beginning with the USA and a matter now for American freedom. Trump praises Charlie Kirk, a giant of his generation. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump hailed the conservative activist Charlie Kirk as a great American hero in matter. This was during a speech to tens of thousands of mourners at a memorial service in Arizona. Trump was the headline speaker at the packed event on Sunday, which saw top officials from the administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance, praise Kirk's political legacy after he was shot dead on 10th September. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he lived boldly, and he aged brilliantly, Trump told the crowd at the State Farm Stadium near Phoenix. Now, Kirk's wife, Erica, also delivered a tearful speech in which she said she had forgiven her husband's alleged killer. Tens of thousands of people queued for hours outside the stadium before the event, with some even camping out the night before to secure their spot. Many wore Make America Great Again hats, other Trump-branded items in red, white, and blue outfits. Inside the stadium, the mood and atmosphere resembled a raucous political rally or mega church service with music beforehand from Christian bands who prompted sing-alongs and prayer of the crowd from the almost 100,000 people. Now, that was at a memorial service of Charlie Kirk, who got shot and succumbed to the injuries. Now, moving on to the UK, Sir Keir Starmer has announced the UK's recognition of a Palestinian state in what represents a significant change in government policy. In a video statement on X, the Prime Minister said, "In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and two-state solution." Australia, Canada and Portugal also announced formal recognition of the State of Palestine, with France expected to follow. The decision has drawn fierce criticism from the Israeli government, families of hostages held in Gaza, and some conservatives. Now, responding yesterday, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said a Palestinian state will not happen, saying he had a clear message to the leaders who had declared recognition. He added, "You are giving a huge reward to terrorism." Both the Israeli and U.S. governments say recognition is a diplomatic gift for Hamas following its attack in southern Israel on 7th October 2023, in which 1,200 people were killed and then 251 taken hostage. Sir Keir insisted the decision is not a reward for Hamas because it means Hamas can have no future, no role in government, no role in security. Now, coming back to the continent of Africa, Guinea is holding a long-awaited referendum on a new constitution that could allow coup leader Mamadi Doumbouya to run for president and would transition the African nation from military to civilian role. Polls opened and closed yesterday on Sunday for the 6.7 million eligible voters to cast a yes or no vote on a new constitution that would lengthen the presidential term from 5 to 7 years, renewable ones, and create a Senate, 1/3 of whose members the president would directly appoint. Now, in the capital, Conakry, the political campaigning was banned on Friday and Saturday. People gathered at polling stations early on Sunday to cast their votes. Reporting from Conakry, Al Jazeera's Ahmed Idris said the government has deployed security officers, with a government statement outlining that more than 40,000 security personnel had been deployed to provide security for this election. Now, people are expecting that the referendum will result in the approval of the draft constitution that some people call impressive and progressive. Idris is quoted. Now, for those of you who may not be in the know, Guinea is one of the growing number of West African countries, including Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, where the military has taken over. Now, that is it from the global affairs here on Good Morning Uganda.
Right, Joan, thank you very much for that update on the global scene. And taking a look at what we have in East Africa, we are going all the way to Kenya with the Daily Nation. And starting, the headline there in the Daily Nation is CSX spy master and 10 billion shillings homeowners in distress. That is the headline in the Daily Nation. And Matiang'i takes on Ruto as 2027 rivalry escalates. Also, Kenya's Golden Stars conquer the Berlin Marathon, and corruption proceeds. Obado allies loss of 500 million properties. Kenya completes historic gold sweep from the 800-meter to marathon. And also, that is what we have in the Daily Nation. Now, let's have a look at what we have in the Citizen. Bank of Tanzania completes digital currency study, awaits government directive. That's the headline. The Bank of Tanzania is awaiting government directives after finalizing a comprehensive study on the potential introduction of a central bank digital currency. In other news, Tanzanian billionaire hits snag in Kenya cement deal. Interesting. On the other hand, Samia, my plan to unlock southern zone potential. Also, Saudi Arabia pledges deeper economic development ties. All of that in the Citizen. Now, let's come back to Uganda. And what we have in the New Vision there, the headline is Museveni gives border cyclists and mechanics 21 billion shillings. That is into their circle. Also, 200 NUP youth defect to NRM, vow to mobilize for support. And still in the New Vision, with what transpired over the weekend was the finals of the Miss Uganda pageant, and Muhoza is new Miss Uganda. Also in the New Vision are job opportunities. I believe there's one for you, so grab it as early as possible. A.J. Chidiowa, Chief Justice, speak out on Besigye case, and Ugandan scientists develop goat breed. Also, Mao Mpuga withdraw from presidential race. Battle for NUP MP flag hots up. That is in the New Vision. And looking at what we have in the Gazette as of the 20th day of September 2025, table of contents is one of the displays in there. Hopefully it will be displayed as early as possible, but notices to recognize to whom it may concern. These present May greetings. Be it known that on the 10th day of January 2024, Nangedo Aida, Nangedo Aida, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be a commissioner for oaths under the above-mentioned act for so long as she continues to practice as such advocate, and the commission is not revoked, given under the hand of Chief Justice Alfonso Chigamoy Owinyidolo, and that is as of the 10th day of January 2024. The other commissioners' oaths act notice to recognize is to all to whom these presents may come. Be it known that on the 25th day of August 2025, Mugabi Chiberu Joffre, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be a commissioner for oaths under the above-mentioned act for so long as he continues to practice as such advocate, and commission is not revoked, under the hand of the Chief Justice Alphonse Chigamoy Owinyidolo as of the 25th day of August 2025. And finally, be it known that on the 10th day of September 2025, Patrick Muwanga, an advocate of the High Court, has been appointed to be a commissioner for oaths under the above-mentioned act for so long as he continues to practice as such advocate, and the commission is not revoked, still under the hand of the Chief Justice Alphonse Chigamoy Owinyidolo as of the 10th of September 2025. And I do beg your pardon, I mentioned the date as of the 20th of September, but rather it's the 19th. It was the 19th of September, which was a Friday. It's a good morning. Allow us give you a minute to have a moment of some music with a song whose promotion I was really pleased with. An American singing in a Nigerian language, the word Omema, which means the God who does good, promoted the song in the most interesting way. But for now, first enjoy the song Omema by Chandler Moore, and the translation is the God who does good. Meditate on that fact that God who created you, he always does good.
Life. Well, let me begin with this story that has really shocked me as well, but I hope peace prevails and we do not have uncalled for incidents. That is the Electoral Commission saying only 2 candidates have fulfilled the requirements to be nominated as presidential candidates. Let's look at this. The Electoral Commission has confirmed that 2 presidential aspirants have met the criteria for the next step of nominations. The EC spokesperson, Julius Muchunguzi, said President Yoweri Museveni and Nandala Mafabi have filled all the requirements. He said that preparations at the nomination grounds are in final stages to ensure a smooth process. Nominations are scheduled for Tuesday, September 23rd and Thursday, September 24th. Youth from across Africa have called upon leaders, especially those from nations affected by war, to embrace dialogue and restore peace. This was during the 2-day East African Youth Summit held at Haddam's Hotel in Entebbe. The East African Youth Summit brought together delegates from 8 member states of the East African community. The technical advisor, East African Youth Network, Jack Tumusime, said the decision centered on dialogue and peace in conflict-affected nations. A youth leader from Kenya, Tobias Nkaruki, stressed the role of youth, women and persons with disabilities in peace building and resettlement of displaced persons. The forum commended the African Union and the regional leaders for efforts towards peace in DRC. The youth also appealed to international community to come in with help, but also for integrational dialogue where leaders, young people and vulnerable groups share experience for lasting peace. Lango war claimants have suspended plans for protest after a high-level meeting with leaders in Lira. The protest had been called to show dissatisfaction over cattle compensation. Government Chief Whip Hamso Mobua explained the 5 resolutions reached on Lango cattle compensation. Richard Ogwang Odoya, who represented the paramount chief, engaged with security and claimants representatives to resolve outstanding issues. The association chairman, Fred Mike Apita, said the Monday protest is officially suspended. Leaders said the focus now is on peace, accountability, and ensuring the restocking program benefits households directly. Finally, from the local scene, the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, called on academic leaders to rethink the role of research and engineering in the national development. This was during the launch of the consortium
www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business. It is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Kamiso now. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, Beidundolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
My friend Baka was found to be positive for Mpox at his old age. He needs our prayers. By the way, Timo, did you know that Mpox-related deaths occur among people with underlying conditions like HIV/AIDS, diabetes, malnutrition, and other old age-related illnesses?
Of late, I've not been following Mpox issues. I thought it wasn't that serious. So, are you saying that as long as one has any underlying condition and feels unwell, just run to the hospital?
Yes! You do not have to wait. If you have any of the signs and symptoms like a body rash, a fever, headache, and body weakness, visit your nearest health facility immediately. We do not have to take any chances, my brother.
We need to immediately inform our peers in the club to be careful.
You see, with Mpox, the magic is in getting treatment early. Those who have suffered severe disease, they wasted a lot of time either treating themselves or ignoring the disease.
Save your life. Seek treatment early. Only from professional health workers whenever you feel unwell. For more information
About Mpox,
call the Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda
with support from UNICEF, WHO,
and its partners.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. If you started the show with us, thank you so much. If you're just joining in right at this moment, you're welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda. We always come to you live from Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. And today we are looking at a very prevalent issue, one that is constant. It just doesn't seem to go away, and we wonder why, but it's why we are looking into it. And we're not doing it alone here. We're doing it with you. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should be able to engage and be a part of the conversation. And the issue at hand is teenage pregnancies. Now, the simplest definition of what a teenage pregnancy is pregnancy in females who are under the age of 20. As simple as that. But looking at the statistics in Uganda, especially because we are looking at teenage pregnancies in Uganda. In Uganda, approximately 1 in 4 girls aged between 15 to 19 years are pregnant or have a child. And the prevalence rate is about 25% of the girls aged 15 to 19. And this makes it one of the highest, in fact, the highest rate in sub-Saharan Africa. Urban versus rural, the rate increased from 19% to 21% in urban areas. And the comparison, really, Uganda has one of the highest teenage pregnancy rates in sub-Saharan Africa, and early marriages being one of the causes. Close to 50% of Ugandan teenagers are married before their 18th birthday. That's rather heartbreaking. I can imagine my 18-year-old self in a situation of marriage. Anyways, like I said, 0709602592. I'll definitely engage my colleagues. I am with John Murunji and Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and I'll pick from the both of them their perspectives, why this conversation is critical. I'll start with you, Robert. In this moment in time, back in the day, it didn't seem to be an issue. I think in our parents or their parents' eras, it seemed okay for them to get married at those ages, 16. Many people have mothers who are, you know, they gave birth to them as firstborns at teenagers. In this day and age, it's heartbreaking. It's hard to imagine. But why is this a critical issue, especially looking at all the sectors, economy, education, all of the sectors that run the country?
Now, previously, there was a lot of ignorance. That is one thing. So much ignorance. You know, and over time, we've had more Ugandans go to school, we've had more Ugandans get the exposure, and are able to find out the dangers of teenage pregnancy. There were so many dangers, but because of ignorance, a young girl would die while giving birth, and they say her co-wife has bewitched her. Because of ignorance, would die while giving birth, and they say that family has a curse. When you marry from there, the wife has chances of dying while giving birth. So there was so much ignorance. Now the world has woken up. We are more exposed. We are more read. We can understand the cause of problems. Now, why we've come out, why the world is against teenage pregnancy, is not because they're against culture. It's not because they want girls to be there and delay giving birth. No, it is the dangers associated with teenage pregnancy to both the mother and the baby. Now, previously, these were not things we were seeing. Out of, like I said, we would look at certain issues and say, she didn't make it, we know that family, even her sister, even the other sister and the other sister. Now, science can prove that, well, when a girl is in her teenage, some take from 10 to about 19. Others will take from 13, whatever it is, but still teenage pregnancy. Now, one, it has health challenges, both physical and psychological. First and foremost, that girl's body is not ready to carry the child. Our mothers made it, but if you could have statistics by then, how many of these young girls died? You know, you can say my mother gave birth at 15, my mother gave birth at 16. She was very lucky. That's why today when you look at the UBOS report, they will show you that the rate of mothers who are dying while giving birth is reducing every year because of these new discoveries. For example, knowing that we shall not have a girl in Uganda give birth. The minimum should be 18 years, you know. Now, if you have girls giving birth when their bodies are ready to carry the baby, that is one. But also two, to be able to produce the baby. That's another important factor. But also, psychologically, to be prepared. You know, I'm an advocate of children by choice, not by chance. Now, this is what happens. That, first and foremost, this girl is believed to still be young to consent. You know, to say, I think, she's believed to still be young, even to determine the number of children and when to have the children. So there is nothing wrong. We are not against culture. We are not against religion. You know, there is a friend of mine who told me, if God has made it ready, then who are you, the human being? Tell me, as long as the girl has seen her
monthly period,
her monthly period, then she's mature. And even told me, so you take away your gezi from here. But the fact is, that can happen, but when the body is not yet ready, she just needs time. So to reduce the number of girls who are dying while giving birth, to reduce the babies that are dying because they have grown in wombs that are not ready to carry them, we must end teenage pregnancy.
Right. Now, let me come over to you, John. And I mean, the critical issues have been expressed, as Robert has rightly put them, through the health, socio-economic, social welfare, rather, economic welfare and education. But why do you think it's constant, it's prevalent, it's never going? And the sad news that Uganda has the highest
in the sub-Saharan and that
sub-Saharan Africa. It's, why?
Why
do you think so?
It's a lot of factors, because when you look at Uganda demographic health survey, that was, I think, 2023, it states that, you know, a teenager is 13 to 19 years, according to the law in Uganda. And it is reported that over 10% of these adolescent girls have reported to have had sexual intercourse as early as 15 years of age. And some of the things we cannot really refrain from knowing as the causes are, one, education. Personally, I believe the limited access to reproductive health education has really contributed to the high prevalence of teenage pregnancies in Uganda. And some of the districts that have high cases, there is Chankwanzi, there is Luwero, most of the districts are in Eastern, by the way. And if people do not know about sexual reproductive health, or if it's expensive, or it's costly for people to access these services, you'll find that most of the adolescents will not be aware about these, for example, contraceptives or abstinence, or because sexual reproductive health is wide, they will not know about the STIs, about the STDs, because these are all in complete of their health concerning reproductive health. And we can also look at cultural norms, though people may not really give it an ear. Some cultures have no problem with kids getting, rather adolescents getting married or having kids at 13 years, at 14 years, and actually they find it okay. We can even zero it down to religious beliefs. What are the religious leaders telling them, or what do they believe in? So all these contribute to. They also have catastrophes like maybe pandemics. For example, COVID-19. We saw there were high cases of teenage pregnancies when COVID-19 was here. And of course, something we cannot forget are the peer groups or peer pressure. Because some of these kids will, some of these adolescents will say, if the other family, my classmate, got pregnant and she went back to school, or nothing happened, the family was okay, she's given birth and life is moving on smoothly, why not me? And also we have...
forgetting where you come from.
Exactly. There are quite a number, because when you also look at substance abuse, like alcohol, drugs, and all that, you know, you might make decisions that are not really well informed, because maybe you're intoxicated, you're under the influence of something. And also poverty, which causes early marriages. You find that adolescents are forced into marriages by their parents, because they look at the girls as sources of income from the man's family, dowry. So there is quite a lot. It's really, really broad when it comes to the causes of teenage pregnancies.
Indeed, it is quite broad. You can be a part of the conversation. 0709602592. It's a WhatsApp number that you can engage and share your opinion as well as we are doing. So, Robert, what do you think are the impacts? Because, I mean, Uganda having the highest statistic in sub-Saharan Africa, where does that leave us looking at the future of a girl, looking at their education, how far they are to go in life, and how low they can stay in life just because of that one mistake, or maybe not even unknowingly a mistake? What is the impact?
Well, first and foremost, we must know that there is a rotation of what we call poverty. It is only by God's grace that children born by these adolescents or teenagers can make it, and make it in a way that is different from their mothers. Now, because a child who is below 18 years, an adolescent getting pregnant, this girl is not empowered, one, for her future, herself alone by that age. If she should still be going to school, so she has no job, she's not working, she's depending on the family, and now if also the family has poverty, like John has explained, the impact of poverty on this. Now that means her future is ruined. It is of late that many people now believe that a child can get pregnant and go back to school. Previously, if a child got pregnant, agenda funa mbuto. You know? Many families, when a girl gets pregnant, the other family will pay dowry, she goes into marriage. So economically, that is an impact on our economy. 2, the child being produced by this young girl. Most of the time, she won't have ability to educate the child. And remember, some of these, the men that impregnate them, no one, it is criminal. So they run and hide, or they live in denial. That is your child, not my child. We do DNA, I'm not available. You know, it becomes a run, you know. So the child, therefore, is most likely not to be educated, not to have a good life, and you're adding on the country's burden, where I have so many youth, but majority of them are not economically productive. You know, we need both quality and quantity. That you have a huge population, but people are very productive. They contribute to the tax. They contribute to production of the country. Now, when you have so many young people who you find in ghettos there, they don't know even what time it is now. They wake up, they don't have any plan maybe to engage in criminality. So there's a circle. The mother is sinking in poverty. The output of the child from the mother is also going to be a national burden as well, you know, because he or she won't go to school, won't have the basics. These days when you move around, go to a number of these ghettos, trading centers, you can look at the youth. Now when you add on drug consumption, it becomes a menace. So these teenage pregnancies are doing us a danger on our nation's economy. We have to spend so much, yet we should have avoided. This people could have been productive. That if this child went through school, gave birth at the right time, even if the father, like so many men out there, have decided to behave in abnormal ways, that they're not taking up their responsibilities. Many men out there. But we see the empowered women.
You remind me of someone I met who, forgive me, this is the language out there, that men who do that are called sperm donors.
Yes, there are so many. There are so many today. and I pity the young girls. So, but what happens, many men there will tell you, I was educated by a single mom.
Yeah.
Because this mother was empowered. And she was able to see that the children live a good life. But imagine that sperm donor. Now if you went for a teenager and dropped the child there.
Allow me engage some of the comments that are coming through. There's one that is coming through from, you haven't left your name, but I'm not so sure if it sounds judgmental, but let me read it because indeed it's an opinion. Good morning, UBC. Oh, this is Magara from Rubaga. Pardon me, Magara from Rubaga says most of these young girls learn from their mothers. This girl will grow up seeing the mother with another man called uncle. And there are high chances that uncle will also sleep with the young girl. You're bringing in many issues, but the major issue is their mother's characters.
Oh, it's his opinion.
Yes.
It's his opinion, because I think that would be with social norms. But I highly, according to statistics actually, that could contribute a little, not at the high extent, because but he does make a point, because if that is what the mother is doing, the child might find it normal to also get pregnant at the age of 13. And we can just put it under the society norms. What is the norm in society? The family where they are growing up from. If my sister, my cousin sister is pregnant at 14 years, I'll find it okay to also get pregnant. So he's
now that brings me to ask Robert, how can girls and women be empowered on both ends of the spectrum? Those who have found themselves in the trap of having conceived at such a young age, and those who have not yet. How can each side be empowered?
Okay, I'll look at the two sides. One, those that have not yet. Government of Uganda, you see, we are good at policies, but the challenge is implementation. One.
Right.
First is keep these girls in school. You remember COVID? It was a time as if the virus at night would impregnate these young girls. We had so many pregnancies during COVID-19. Do you know why? The girls were not in school. Research has shown that keeping girls in school prevents them from getting pregnant because they are in school. Now, when they're idle and loitering around and what, that is why you'll find that very few girls get pregnant during school time.
Because they are busy with school.
Yeah, you'll see that many during holidays. After holidays, reporting back, the matron does the they check, she's pregnant. She conceived while home. So let's keep these girls in school. 2, we need to ensure that the criminals are brought to book. Fellow men and young boys watching us, in our country, it is illegal to have sex with a girl below the age of 18. Now, if you're caught, you're going to serve a sentence of not less than 10 years in jail.
Robert, don't you think, sorry for the interjection, but don't you think this would be partly bring awareness to the boys or to the young boys that lure, or the older men that lure these girls into sexual activity? Because the girls may try to resist the first time, but when it comes overwhelming, they're likely to give in. So how about this is strictly brought to the boys or to the men?
That's why I'm speaking to the boys and men out there.
And actually, I think
that it is criminal. And here, I want to call upon society, families and police. You see, one thing over time in my career as a journalist, that in Uganda, when the punishment or the fine is high, it makes corruption more fertile.
Really?
Yes. Let me tell you, if the traffic fines are lifted, a traffic officer will stop and say, Mukuru, I either give you this, you go and pay 300.
But
and a person will quickly say, if an offense, for example, defilement, rape, impregnancy below the age of 18, I think that you can put under defilement. When that offense is committed, a police officer at that desk is more excited to handle that case than any other case.
But you know, speaking still into empowerment, I would add to what John has said, and I don't know, maybe...
First, I was looking at how we can prevent those that have not yet gotten.
Yes.
We'll look at the law and keep them in school.
Yes.
Now, those that have already conceived, to the parents out there, take this child back to school. Government has allowed them even to sit UNEB exams. We know they don't refuse someone who is pregnant. This is not to encourage this habit, but take these young girls back to school. They are below 18, they couldn't consent, don't blame them for whatever happened. 2, government of Uganda has come up with what we call skilling hubs. It began with President Skilling the Girl Child.
The Girl Child Initiative.
Now there are also industrial hubs that government has put in place. Now these girls are given skills. There is bakery, there is tailoring, there is so much. Take them, let them have a skill. That she will just get a sewing machine there, be able to make a living. She can learn how to bake, she can, there's so many. Take them.
Now, staying on the issue of empowerment, I feel that as a society and you know, society at large, up to government level, girls have been talked to. It's common. Girls from home are talked to. In school, they are talked to. Senior ladies. Somewhat society is talking to girls, but I believe this issue can also be resolved if boys are overly talked to, the same way girls are overly talked to. Because I mean, away from even the teenage pregnancies, because of overly talking to the girls and not overly talking to the boys, even in marriages, you find that women are told what to do, how to treat, but men are just there. They get married and nothing to do. You know? So the girls are empowered, but the people they are empowered for
are not empowered.
I
do agree with you,
So
Julie.
in the case of teenage pregnancies, I believe from home, right from home, into school, into society, police, the law, the government, I think boys, it's about time. Boys are overly pumped with information. Perhaps, I think, it would reduce on the vice. But looking at some of the comments that are coming through still, Good morning, UBC. This is Zahara from Gulu. According to me, we shouldn't blame the girls because some people outside here come with some complicated statements. As a girl, you should
complicated.
Yes. As a girl, you should get pregnant at an early stage to prevent yourself from getting some complications. Right?
Fibroids.
Yes. And this puts girls on pressure. Thank you for the wonderful program. Good morning.
That has scientifically been proven, though.
On my opinion. Well, anyways,
for another
not at
13 years, not
at for another conversation, we'll dig deep into that. But let's stay within the docket. In my opinion, it's peer influence. They see others. This is Eric from Soroti, and good morning, UBC. You say that the nature of community can also cause teenage pregnancy, i.e. a child grows up knowing that if she reaches 13, the next thing is producing. This is what John expressed. And hi UBC, good morning. Badangenga, you're shining. Thank you for the program. Thank you for watching. Now, I think you've sent your opinion in a voice note. I'm unable to play the voice note. Please type it so that we are able to respond effectively. Hi, UBC. Good morning. I'm called Siraje Maso from Arua City. These girls go early because of family conflict, hence want to create gap with their parents. This is a point. Many girls are running away from a lot of chaos happening in their families, and their place of solace is these men who end up disappointing them, leaving them with pregnancies. John, what would be your parting shot on this issue?
I think the Ministry of Health has tried to put some interventions to mitigate teenage pregnancies. And if you're out there, please embrace these strategies, because they've also got a national strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy 2023, 2023, and it's expected to end in 2026, 2027. And please make these adolescents have access, rather cheaper access to reproductive health education. I believe it is the basis of all this, because if the person is educated about what to do and what not to do, how to decide what decision to take and not to, we shall curb teenage pregnancies in Uganda.
Right. Robert, I would ask a parting shot in line with what you think religious institutions, what role do you think they have to play?
First, they must come out clean and strong and condemn this at all costs, because they have huge followings. Come out clean and condemn this. If there are any kind of religious, I must say, that promote this, you see, by then science was not that much. We've seen the danger. Let's condemn teenage pregnancies. For them, it is about condemning this evil. Let's term it as evil. Let's condemn this evil. We cannot continue seeing young girls die. Their destiny, you see, teenage pregnancy kills destiny and kills the body as well. We bury them when giving birth, but also their destiny, even if they stay alive, is destroyed.
Right. And when you say religious institutions condemning, I think it also comes with the programs they avail in condemning, because you can't just talk without action. There's a lot that has to be done to keep these teenagers active and engaged in whatever is in your space as a religious institution. I will stay with let the boy child be empowered as well, right from home. Overly talk to the boys. It's about time you did so. The girls have had enough. It's now information overload. Now pump the boys too. The conversation come to its end, and I'm closing it with these remarks. Hi UBC, thank you for the program. I really enjoy it. How I wish all people would be watching. Good morning UBC. This is Emmanuel from Gulu. You see, nowadays girls want to get married immediately. They don't have true love. Well, Emmanuel, I think you're... but we'll have this discussion some other time to go deeper into now those moments. But for now,
he's right. Did he just...
GNU Tourism Express is up next with Zakia Laki. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Revered as the patrons of the wild,
My horn stood tall, announcing my presence among Africa's Big Five. Yet, with all my strength, I struggled to survive. Then Uganda Wildlife Authority gave us something, a safe home at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. And here we began to thrive again. Today, we are 48 members strong, with 17 cows, ready to take our unique story into the future. This is your lifetime opportunity to name a rhino, and with it, find the conservation efforts that keep our story alive. For more information, visit our website, www.ugandawildlifeauthority.org.
My friend Baka was found to be positive for Mpox at his old age. He needs our prayers. By the way, Timo, did you know that Mpox-related deaths among people with underlying conditions like HIV/AIDS, diabetes, malnutrition, and other old age-related illnesses?
Of late, I've not been following Mpox issues. I thought it wasn't that serious. So, are you saying that as long as one has any underlying condition and feels unwell, just run to the hospital?
Yes! You do not have to wait. If you have any of the signs and symptoms like a body rash, a fever, headache, and body weakness, visit your nearest health facility immediately. We do not have to take any chances, my brother.
We need to immediately inform our peers in the club to be careful.
You see, with Mpox, the magic is in getting treatment early. Those who have suffered severe disease, they wasted a lot of time either treating themselves or ignoring the disease.
Save your life. Seek treatment early, only from professional health workers whenever you feel unwell. For more information
About Mpox,
call a Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda
with support from UNICEF, WHO,
and its partners.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by
uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Welcome back from the newsreel. Thank you for joining us once again. We are on Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express, and my name is Zakia Lucky. We have been counting down the Name a Rhino campaign, and we have finally zeroed down. The conference is happening today in Nakasongola. Make sure you are there to witness how these rhinos are going to be named. Some of them have already been named, but it's going to be an exciting event. And the President, His Excellency, is going to be there as well. Well, I have come about the slogan, or this funny slogan going around, that the gorillas are going to be dancing with the dolphins in Kenya at the beach. With me is the ambassador, Mr. Paul Mukumbya, who is going to be telling us about the empowerment. He's the Consul General in Kenya, and he's going to be telling us more about the Uganda-Kenya coast. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Zaki, and thank you for hosting me. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Yes, thank you so much. So, talking about the empowering youth and innovation with the Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism collaboration, what is the vision this year?
This year we have the theme leveraging youth, technology, and innovation for responsive and inclusive tourism. Every year since 2022, we have different themes with sub-themes, topics for discussion. So this year we are focusing on youth, technology, and innovation. That's the focus for this year. And we chose this theme because of the very important role that young people play in tourism. You know, young people have a lot of innovations. They are tech savvy, if I may. They are also big travelers. So we wanted to see how can we combine the youth being tech savvy, being key leaders in the industry, both as travelers and service providers, to improve and further develop technology and innovation so that we continue to develop the partnership between Uganda and the Kenya coast and the wider tourism industry.
You talked about the youth and innovation and technology. How do you see these factors working out in this space, especially with promoting tourism in East Africa?
You know, youth are almost all the time on gadgets. Some of them use their tech savviness very productively, but there are others that don't use it as productively. So we want to bring these youth and say that, for example, when you are a content creator as a young person, it would pay you a lot, much more, to create tourism content than, for example, to promote other things which are not so productive. And we are using this, as we promote this theme, we are also promoting young people. For example, in our planning committee for this year's conference, we've got some young people whom we brought on board because of the theme of youth, innovation, and technology. And they are helping us a lot in creating awareness about this year's conference. I always tell people that, for example, for me, who is not as tech savvy, if you go to digital platforms, you will only find me on WhatsApp. But the young people are on TikTok, they are on Instagram, they are on so many other things. Twitter, I remember an advert which used to call it Twitter, which is now these days X. So we are really leveraging all these platforms to really show the youth that they can be more productive, creating positive content, and in this case, tourism content. For example, if our young people started, for example, we know that we have very vibrant city nightlife in Kampala. If young people went around creating content about our nightlife in Kampala, if young people went to Jinja and created content about the adventure city, if they went to Machon Falls and created content about the falls there, and all these other very many tourism products we have, they would really add a lot of value to our tourism development, because it would be out there all over the digital platform. So that's what we are trying to create awareness to the youth, to show them that you can use these tools, you can use your phones to create a very positive impact in our tourism industry.
Could there be opportunities that have been placed for the youth in collaboration to this event?
Yes, as I've said, for example, we have some young people in our group. One of them He goes by the title Madman, but he's not mad. He's called Emmanuel Waswa.
Yes.
And some other, for example, when we had the media launch, both in Malindi and in Kampala last month, we also brought forward some young people who have got innovations in the tourism industry. So really, we are being intentional in creating space and a platform for young people to showcase their innovations in the tourism industry and to promote them. So we are really being intentional. Even when we have the exhibition during the conference next year, we shall set aside some booths specifically for young people to showcase their innovation. So really, it is not just on paper, it's not just in words, but we are really being intentional in promoting young people and giving them a platform to showcase their innovations in the tourism sector.
That is absolutely nice. Now, when I take you back to the tourism space, how is the Uganda consulate in Mombasa working in regards to strengthening this collaboration and relationship?
We started this partnership or initiative in 2022, and we've been working very closely with the private sector, both in Uganda and Kenya, and also with the governments, especially the Uganda government, which has been very supportive to our initiative. You know, these days, government of Uganda has what we have called the tenfold growth strategy. And as Uganda missions have been identified as being key players in this strategy, and therefore government has given reasonable resources to all Uganda missions abroad to promote economic and commercial diplomacy. So we, as the Uganda consulate in Mombasa, we have focused on tourism development. And this is what we have been doing a lot since 2022 when we had our first conference in Mombasa. We had the second conference in Diani, again at the Kenya coast in 2023. And last year we had the third conference in Munyonyo here in Kampala. So this year we have the fourth conference in Malindi at the Kenya coast. And through these partnerships and fora, we have created a platform or platforms, especially for the private sector, to build networks, to establish very strong partnerships. Now you find that, for example, tour operators in Uganda have partnered with their counterparts at the Kenya coast, travel agents. For example, now when a tour operator from the Kenya coast is sending clients to Uganda, they don't have to worry who is going to do the ground handling here in Uganda, because they have met severally. Some of them have even started working very closely together. So when a tour operator from the Kenya coast is sending a client to Uganda, they don't need to worry where or who they are sending them to, because they know these people, they have met them personally. So this has been the key role of the consulate in bringing together the private sector players. We are from Uganda and at the Kenya coast, and they are really doing very good business, working together very closely.
And maybe to take you back, you talked about tour operators benefiting from this, and I think I have seen farm trips where they have visited places like Windy, Impenetrable. Yes. So how can tourism stakeholders also benefit from the collaboration?
And thank you. I have always said that our partnership is a best example of a success story between a PPP, public-private partnership, because, and you have mentioned the farm trips. All people who participate in these farm trips are from the private sector. They are tour operators, they are travel agents, they are hoteliers. And we give them this platform with the intention of them experiencing and seeing these products firsthand. This is the very positive impact that farm trips create. So that, and I've also always said that these farm trips have helped us to do away with what I call Google operators. Someone goes on the internet, they want to send someone to Bwindi or to Jinja. They have never been there. So what they do, they go to Google, which are the hotels in Bwindi, who are the tour operators in Uganda, how far is it from, and all these factors. And sometimes that's how some of them end up in wrong hands with the briefcase companies that are not legally established. So really, the farm trips have created, not only the farm trips, but all these activities that we organize, the conference, the farm trips, we also have golf tournaments. They have really created a platform for the private sector to be able to see these products firsthand, curate, be able to curate itineraries that they have themselves experienced. And as a result, if they are booking a client and the client asks them any questions, they know wherever they are sending the clients, they know the lodges or hotels they are sending them to, they know which tour operator can help them get a very good land safari vehicles or land cruisers. They really know the products firsthand, and really this helps the private sector to sell something that they know to sell from a point of information or knowledge, other than selling from Google. Yeah.
And that takes me straight to the accommodation being one of the key
on the theme, which is, as I said earlier, leveraging youth, technology and innovation for responsive and inclusive tourism. But we have got 3 other topics for discussion. We have got tech-based tourism, and under there we shall talk about digital branding and marketing. We shall talk about social media influencing. We shall talk about, and then after that we shall talk about culture and heritage. Then we shall talk about sports and sports tourism. But finally, we shall talk about smart destinations. That's one of the topics. And smart destinations, we are really focusing on those destinations. For example, in Uganda, we want to see, when you look at Serena Chigo Hotel, we have labeled it a smart destination, because when you get to Serena, you are not only going to sleep there, but you can play golf there. So there are quite a number of offers in one complex. And then, for example, when you go to the Kenya coast, we have Vipingo Ridge. This is where we shall actually have the golf tournament. But they also have accommodation. They have kind of, it's a very interesting setup. They have kind of, I could call it, it's a very large area where there are even wild animals. That you can be driving to Vipingo Ridge and you come across zebras. So you can see that the modern traveler doesn't just want to go to a hotel or destination that is just concrete, that will keep him enclosed in his room for all the time of his or her stay. So these are the kind of destinations that we want to promote, and this is about, so that it enhances the experience of the traveler. So we want to run away from those traditional accommodation places which are just concrete, a TV inside the room, and as soon as you get out of your room you have nothing else to do. So we want to really promote these and see how they can enhance experiences of the modern traveler.
That indeed sounds more experiential and exciting. When I take you back to culture tourism, as you mentioned, we well know Uganda is diverse with so many cultures, and of course Kenya. How are these going to be able to bridge the relationship? What is going to be their role in this collaboration?
As I said, one of the panel discussions we are going to have is on culture and heritage. And we have lined up quite an interesting panel on this. We have, you know, Uganda, as you have indicated, we are very rich in culture and heritage. So, for For example, we have identified 3 panelists from Uganda. We have a Wafe Cultural Village,
yes,
which is basically a one-stop center about culture, especially the culture of Buganda. We have also Kainera Farm, which is also a very good one-stop center about culture. And then about heritage, we have got Dr. Celestine Katongole to talk about the heritage of the Ugandan societies or tribes. So, and in Kenya, we are also lining up those to speak about the Kenyan culture. So really, culture, and we've also observed it, whenever we organize farm trips, we also include a night or an evening at Indere Cultural Center. And the Kenyans have really expressed a lot of interest in this, in Indere Cultural Center. The shows that are put up by Indere Troupe, they are really very exciting and very interesting to all the people that we bring. So really this shows that much as people may want to enjoy the safaris, to enjoy all these other products, but cultural tourism is by and large becoming a very important aspect. Actually, there are some of the tourists that come and all they want to experience is the culture. And you know, every culture is unique in itself. So really, we are also intentionally promoting culture as part of our initiatives, and it's really gaining a lot of traction.
So taking it back to the youth, how can they participate or be empowered actively besides employment? Like you mentioned, innovation, things like that.
Well, I don't think there's anything better than employment, especially for the young people. And you know, most of our countries in Africa have got very young populations.
Yes.
So really, for me, I think encouraging young people, and tourism is such a big employer, really encouraging young people to find space. Even when you go amongst the tour operators, we have observed over the years that many of the people that come or attend these conferences that we organize every year, majority of them are young tour operators. When you go to the subject we talked about, innovation, many of them are young innovators. So really, by finding space for them in the tourism industry, we are actually promoting gainful employment for young people. But we are also working with the training institutions. In Uganda, like the Institute of Hotel and Catering in Jinja. In Kenya, even last year we had the Utalii College as one of the panels. Even this year, we are looking out to all these institutions to be part of the conference so that they also help us or help young people to learn the new innovations. So really, we are being intentional in empowering them, both in training and in finding gainful employment in the tourism sector.
You did talk about that, and I'm thinking about one of our viewers who didn't know about this, but they would like to participate, especially the youth or even tourism stakeholders. How can they come into participation within this conference?
Thank you. We have been registering when we had the media launches in Malindi and in Kampala last month. We also, the governor of Kilifi County in Kenya, where the conference will happen, and even at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we launched the registration portal, and registration is ongoing at the tourism conference, being one word. I don't know if you are able to screen that, to show that on the screen. The tourism conference or .org. That's where registration is taking place, both for the conference and for the exhibition. We have quite a limited number of booths, exhibition booths, and they will go out to those that book them first, but also to our partners, those who support us in one way or another. So I really encourage all tourism stakeholders in Uganda to register at that registration portal. The slots are running out very fast.
Okay.
And because we have a limited, a fixed number, as soon as we get that number, registration will close. But for Ugandan stakeholders, we are also, as always, Uganda Airlines has been a key partner. So we are discussing with Uganda Airlines. As usual, they give us very special fares. Last year, they gave us a fare of $300 return economy. So we are also in touch with Uganda Airlines to give us a special fare for this conference, for this year's conference and farm trips. But also for those that may want to travel with a mix of road and SGR, you can board a bus up to Nairobi and then take the SGR train from Nairobi to Mombasa. Then from there, we as the organizers will be able to provide transport to all our stakeholders from Mombasa to Malindi. But before the conference, which happens on 27th and 28th, we have a farm trip, as we've talked about earlier, the important role of farm trips. So we have a farm trip to the Kenya coast from 22nd to 26th of October. So Ugandan stakeholders, not all of them will participate in the farm trip. A limited number that book the slots early. This farm trip will happen in 4 counties: Mombasa, Mombasa County, Kilifi County, where we have Malindi and Watamu, Kwale County, where we have Diani. Diani has been voted as the best beach in Africa for the last 9 years. Then Taita Taveta. Taita Taveta County is where we have the Savo East and Savo West national parks. So that's where the farm trips will happen concurrently. So whoever will not be switching from one county to another. So we have that farm trip from 22nd to 26th, but we also have the golf tournament.
Yes.
On 25th of October at Vipingo Ridge. So I encourage all Ugandan golfers to take some of their reasonable disposable income. You know, golfers are people with reasonable disposable income. So I encourage the golfers in Uganda to register and be part of this golf tournament. Last year we had the golf tournament at Chitanti Golf course, and we had a reasonable number of Kenyans. So let's please reciprocate, Ugandan golfers. Let's prepare to participate
That sounds
in the golf tournament at Vipingo Ridge.
Okay, thank you so much, Ambassador, for those insights. You have heard that the slots are being taken, so come up. If you have not managed to take or catch the registration portal, you're going to find it on our social media platforms. And we are all still on Good Morning Uganda. Coming in is Joanne Murungi with the business segment. Good morning again.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My friend Baka was found to be positive for Mpox at his old age. He needs our prayers. By the way, Timo, did you know that Mpox-related deaths occur among people with underlying conditions like HIV/AIDS, diabetes, malnutrition, and other old age-related illnesses?
Of late, I've not been following Mpox issues. I thought it wasn't that serious. So, are you saying that as long as one has any underlying condition and feels unwell, just run to the hospital?
Yes! You do not have to wait. If you have any of the signs and symptoms like a body rash, a fever, headache, and body weakness, visit your nearest health facility immediately. We do not have to take any chances, my brother.
We need to immediately inform our peers in the club to be careful.
You see, with Mpox, the magic is in getting treatment early. Those who have suffered severe disease, they wasted a lot of time either treating themselves or ignoring the disease.
Save your life. Seek treatment early. Only from professional health workers whenever you feel unwell. For more information
about Mpox,
call a Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda
with support from UNICEF, WHO,
and its partners.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome back from Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express with Zakia Lucky. Once again, for those of you who are just joining us, good morning. I hope you're having a very, very good Monday morning. Yes, it is time for Business Talk. And today we're going to look at exhibitions. For those of you who may not be aware, exhibitions are very important in business. They serve a number of aspects. For example, they can provide the artist with exposure or a platform to help them showcase their work and receive feedback. And to you, the society, you can gain experience and also foster cultural exchange and learn about different cultures in history. And today we are looking at the I Want to Go Home, a poignant solo exhibition by Eritrean artist called Nebe Abraham. Yes, he is a powerful explorer of the feelings of displacement, homesicknesses, and the quiet resilience of immigrants. Just to tell you a little about Abraham, he was born and raised in Eritrea, but then he went to Ethiopia and then finally, rather in South Sudan, and finally settled in Uganda. Remember, yes, as a refugee. Now, this exhibition that started started on 13th September, is going to last for 1 full month, and it is taking place at the Umoja Art Gallery in Bokoto. And the exhibition features figures representing people from the Horn of Africa, often depicted in a manner that suggests that they are living outside their native environments, and this is done by highlighting a universal sense of being out of place. Now, the history deeply informs his artistic practice, where he uses mixed media collage to create a visual dialogue about the search for belonging. And a central element of Abraha's work is the powerful symbolism of the spider. Then this he uses with his recurring motif to represent deserted physical and emotional spaces, reflecting the loneliness and sense of being left behind that he believes many immigrants do experience. Now, the presence of the spider in his work serves as a stark reminder of the isolation that can exist even when surrounded by a new community. And the exhibition serves as a compelling call to be accepted, or for acceptance, as a deeper understanding of the immigrant's perspective, and it invites viewers to connect with the human stories behind the headlines, recognizing a shared humanity in the search for a place to call home. Now, Nebe is a self-taught visual artist. He didn't go to school about it, and he uses materials like recycled newspapers, found papers, charcoal and acrylics on canvas to make sure his work is portrayed well. Now, we are going to have a look as GMU sat down with the artist to take us through his art and his exhibitions. My name is Joan Murunji. This is Good Morning Uganda, and coming up is the agenda. Let's have a look.
My name is Nabaya I am from Eritrea. I grew up in Eritrea. I also studied art in Eritrea, Asmara, from 2014 up to 2016. After that, I went from Eritrea to Ethiopia 2018. So I have been there in Ethiopia 2018 since 2020, 40 years. So after that, I went to South Sudan. I did also many exhibitions in South Sudan, as long as even in Ethiopia. And then here, 2024, I'm in Uganda as a refugee, and I also doing here, I teach art, and also I do many countries exhibition. When I start art, I was having older brother, and I was having also neighbor that they do art drawing. Since that I was 9 years old, I get inspired and then I start sketching where I start my book. I was trying to cut the papers. I tried to draw. I tried to redraw. After that, when I was 15 age, my parents, they take me to school. Yeah, so, and that is beginning where I became that. So since when I was 9 years old, I know that I will become artist. I never changed my dream since that. Many exhibitions, different countries like Kenya, Eritrea, Ethiopia, South Sudan, even America, even in Uganda. Uganda, I did group exhibitions when I was in South Sudan, 2020, the same gallery, Umoja Art Gallery, and now also again solo exhibitions. So the reason I choose Uganda is because of Lighton Art Gallery. Since I met her when I was in South Sudan, since that I became interested working for the future with her. So finally, last year I tried to do exhibition solo. I tried to talk to her, I talked to her. So finally we did it here. But I'm living also in Uganda, almost 1 year and 6 months now. I am also doing art class. So the reason why I chose Uganda, I think it was close for me. Even I visited before when I was in South Sudan. I saw it yeah, I think it's better for me in East Africa. It's a better country for me to live, and also we are here, many Eritreans here. I want also give them some opportunities to do art activity, to open for them art class. So that's the reason I choose. I try it and I think I like it. So the idea is about immigrants who they left Eritrea, other countries, even Africans who they left from Africa, different country to USA or it can be Europe. So the idea of that, that's the inspiration, the gallery, the artwork as you saw, that's the inspiration from where it comes. But also, yeah, in Eritrea I do, as I told you, I do one group exhibition. Also, after I graduated, also second group exhibition I did. Then my plan was to go Ethiopia to get learn for art. There is a more competition in art. Also, there are many Ethiopians, they are living there like artists. I love that competition. I want to go for fine arts for school. But when I went that, I didn't that, but I did many exhibitions in Ethiopia, as I told you. So the exhibition is called I Want to Go Home. The idea of being immigrants like me, it can be even different people, anyone who left their home for better life, different country, Africa, especially from Africa, who they went to Europe or America. So I know that feeling. You can be successful. You can get very opportunities in that country, but you will miss your family, where you grow up. So I want to go home means like I want to go back where I grow up, or where is my family, where is everything, who I am. So this exhibition is opening September 13 today and is going to stay for 1 month. So keep coming and visit us. What I give advice for young artists, I'm also a young artist, but I want to just tell them being an artist is very hard, very tough, but if you just keep doing, it may take time, but you will get there. So only thing I need, they should not give up. They just keep doing. Get to learn, read books. So there is many opportunities now. You can get. We have good galleries in East Africa. So I think it's a good thing. So you just keep doing that. Be a hard worker. You will get that. As an artist, it would be maybe hard when you start. You got to sell your art. It can be very hard, but when you do over and over exhibitions to different countries, you will get people to know you. When you work hardly, they can love your artwork. So the more you do exhibitions, the more you do artwork, you will get the more customers, or you can have good deals with the galleries. So of course you can change your life. Yeah. If you want to know who I am, or my artworks, or to follow, you can search Instagram, Nebai Abraha. You can get either my account, you can see what I post, what is new. And also in TikTok, where I teach account, I have that is called View Art Academy. If you search also View Art Academy, we have Instagram and also TikTok.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby, don't.
UK can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. If you're just joining in, you're welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda, and UBC TV always here to inspire you. We are having a look at the nominations update and the state of readiness by for the presidential nominations tomorrow by the Electoral Commission, but also all stakeholders involved in this. To be a part of this, 0709-602-592. It's the WhatsApp number that you should engage and be a part of the conversation. Julie F. Nantaba is my name, and it's the road indeed to 2026 general elections, and it's important that you and I get to understand the update, the process, timelines, and emerging challenges regarding the current season of nominations, especially nominations that start tomorrow of the presidential candidates. And to help us do that is Paul Bukenya, who is very passionate about communications, but also the deputy spokesperson of the Electoral Commission. Good morning. Good to have you on the show.
Morning, Julie, and good to be on the show. And right. Good morning to our viewers out there.
Right. Let's start off with what the current affairs, the current status is for the nomination process across the country.
Yeah, so for the past few weeks, actually months, we've been doing series of nominations for elective positions, for various elective positions under the roadmap for general elections. We done the local government council nominations, which will conclude on the 24th. They conclude this week at LC3 sub-county level. They are ongoing. But also at the national level, of course, we have the presidential nominations, which will be conducted tomorrow, you know, and then 23rd tomorrow, and then 24th Wednesday. Right. Now that is a two-day nomination period, which we've been working at, preparing, and getting ready for as Electoral Commission, and then of course on the part of our stakeholders, the political parties and aspiring independents. They've also been working towards that. So we are here now. We're going to be receiving those who have prepared themselves and put together all the requirements. And as and when they satisfy the requirements, we'll be declaring nominated candidates for presidential elections. Then we will know who is going to contest in the presidential elections. And then they will start their campaigns. And elections are in January next year.
Right. Last week, we saw Robert Chagulanyi's presidential nomination at risk over signatures that the EC verified as only 80, which was less than what is required. And of course, there was a lot of conversation on Noop's side. And yesterday, we actually saw Justice Simon Biawakama clapping back and asking Noop to stop politicizing this issue. What exactly are the requirements for someone to be fully nominated as a presidential candidate?
Yeah, to be nominated as a presidential candidate, there's a series of requirements that are laid down in the law, which you must satisfy. But of course, one of them, given that the presidency is Uganda is the constituency, so we have one constituency. Right. And then the districts, I would say the districts are the units in. So you are required to indicate support, to have obtained support from across the country. And the law talks about 2/3 of the districts of Uganda. Now the districts being 146 and the cities, you're required to have obtained support from 98 districts of Uganda, 100 registered voters from within those districts. You don't get maybe just like one district which has 100,000 voters and they all write, and then you go, no. There must be 100 from each of the districts of Uganda, making 2/3 of the districts. So I also want to say that this requirement, of course, is critical. And it's not the first time that we've asked an aspiring candidate to top up. I think that's why the chairperson was saying we should not politicize it, because it is something that has happened before. Like I've told some of our friends in the media and also on social media, I happen to have the benefit of having been in the election administration for some years now. But I remember seeing this in 2010 when we were preparing for 2011 elections. I won't mention the parties, but they received it with grace and then went to the field and topped up. I saw it in 2015. It happens. And there are even reasons why it happens. We know it. And we've always guided aspirants on how they should prepare their submissions. So we've seen it. We even saw it in the COVID election, 2020, where an aspirant who needed to top up and complete the set. And so it coming up now, it should not be really politicized, and it is not ill intention. It is actually fairness on the part of the Electoral Commission, and that's why we say please submit your signatures in advance, so that when we come across an issue, we inform you and you go and you correct it. There are some aspirants, and I can't mention, because of course those who have returned in the 30s, but there are some who are at 30 as we talk, and you know that they are really doing badly. And you tell them, you know what, you're doing badly. By 30 you
mean they only have 30
30, yes, and we've told them, because you need to tell someone how they are performing. They brought in 100 districts, but from what you've put to strict scrutiny, you've found them wanting, and a complete set is 30 out of 98, and you have to tell them. So telling a political party that you need to top up here is part of the fairness, and it should not be politicized. And I'm glad that those who are informed actually immediately go to work. I will ignore the politics and the other things that they put in. I'm just glad that they immediately went to work, and I think we walked through Sunday yesterday. I saw people returning the top up so that they satisfy the requirement. So one of the reasons why sometimes, and I hope I have a minute to say that, it's because in some cases the aspirants almost obtain signatures from the same areas. So you've gotten a legitimate entry. Kenya Paul is a registered voter in Wakiso, yes, but you know, he has also supported 5 others because they've come to my town where I am. And I've said, well, let me come in, and they've supported. So the first one to be entered into the EC database is the one who is legit. The others are blocked. I'm blocked because by law you can only support one aspirant. That is also one of the reasons, because some of these aspirants almost collect from the same pool, the same trading centers. Well, that's one of the reasons, and we've always said it's first come, first serve. So the first time the entry is entered, it is blocked. And you may wonder that, oh, I've brought so many, and why are you telling me that they are not? Do you want to say that Kenya is not a registered voter? He's a registered voter, but he has already supported an aspirant, which is why, as you've seen, some bring over and above. But even when you bring over and above, there could be still a problem.
A lot of repetition.
We saw some young people who have registered as voters, but you know, they've just registered. We already updated the register. They are not voters, but they are citizens. They have a national ID and all that, but they're not on the voters register. So that entry becomes null, but they have a national ID and it is legit. It's legitimate. So I think when you take these persons through, they tend to understand. So it is not politics, because we don't do that. It's a requirement in the law. And from far away, if we go away from the politics, I want to report that whoever was notified immediately got to work. These other sound bites that they made, I don't really want to go there, because it's a distraction from the issues. And I think whoever satisfies the requirement will be informing them and then issuing them with what we call a certificate of compliance. And then they can go on to the next stage in their bid for nomination.
Very interesting. I love the word key scrutiny that you used. Because it looks like it's one that a couple of candidates are skipping. And I wonder if there is a chance that they are taken through some form of civic awareness or education on the key scrutiny areas that they need to focus on as they go into the field.
Well, we take them through when we are issuing the form. First of all, it's accompanied by clear guidelines. This is a presidential election. The guideline is very clear. And we say that a person to support you, we even issued a prescribed form. Now that form is prescribed, it is not a gamble. Already there are fields that you must fill: the name, the registration number of the person, the NIN, even their telephone numbers where they have to, because we even take effort to sample out, you know. So we do the electoral area, everything, the form is prescribed. So for persons who are in the political arena, they know what this form means, because these are the forms they ordinarily, they regularly fill. So you must tick off every box, and that information is available about you. You know, you as a supporter, you have a name, you have a national ID number, you have a voter number, you have a village, you have a parish, you have a district. So it is very easy to put it to strict scrutiny. So when you bring it back, we just enter it into the database, and then we say, oh, Paul Bukenya is actually a registered voter, but he has already supported, we already entered him because he supported a particular candidate. Or then we say, oh, Paul Bukenya is a registered voter, this is legit, and we take it. Right. So when we make 100, that district is satisfied, and we put it aside and we say pass. So when it is 99, we say, no, you need to get one extra voter to make this complete, because it is incomplete at that stage. Right. So in terms of scrutiny, the aspirants are taken through because we give them a detailed, clear, self-explanatory guideline, but also a prescribed form where you must tick everything. And it is consistent with how we have captured your details on the voters register. So it's not misleading at all, it is not ambiguous, it is very clear. And for a person who wants to contest for the position of president, you must be able to really understand this and feel it well. Yeah.
Right. Now, the EC is involved in the ongoing leadership struggle of the UPC party. And one would wonder what the role of the EC in that struggle, power struggle, is. I was shocked because you said we were involved, and I was saying, oh my God, what is this? In making sure who should be the official flag bearer for the UPC. I understand that the EC is having talks with the different candidates who want to stand and represent the UPC, but as of at least now, the party has not yet decided on whom to go with, and time is going. So what exactly is the role of the EC in this matter, aside from nominating whoever they shall have chosen as the official candidates?
Well, by law, the Electoral Commission Act empowers the Electoral Commission, among our functions and within our mandate, to hear complaints which arise before and during nominations. And that is clearly indicated in the law. It's one of our roles that we can hear a complaint, but we also perform under the law, the Political Parties and Organizations Act, the role of having the political party register. So we're involved in the exercise of registration of political parties. We don't manage them, we don't run their internal affairs, but we have a role that we play, and it is assigned by the law. So our engagement with political parties it falls within our mandate as it is laid down in those respective laws. So when there is a dispute or a disagreement in a political party, they can appeal to the Electoral Commission that we have such and such a matter, and we want you to look at it so that it is addressed, and the Electoral Commission can see it and exercise its powers and hear that complaint and determine it within its powers and within its mandate, within our mandate. And if the parties are not satisfied, then that's when they can go actually to a court of law on that particular matter. So I think what you see happening is an appeal to the Commission to look into the matter and determine it so that there is clarity on how the matters of that political party, and for that purpose the candidate should be who should be nominated. I think this is a matter now that has been heard. I don't want to take on either side. The commission sat through Sunday yesterday to hear the matter, and the commission will be determining it and passing on the information. So, but yeah, that's what happens when political parties get issues. They come to the Electoral Commission and raise formally a complaint, which the commission has to hear and determine within this time, because nominations are tomorrow and Wednesday.
Right.
So there's a lot of work going on to determine that and guide the party about it. Yeah.
Right. 0709602592. It's the WhatsApp number you should engage and be a part of the conversation. We are looking at nomination updates and really the state of readiness for especially the presidential nominations that are starting tomorrow. Let's take a look at what tomorrow is going to be like, starting tomorrow into the following day, which is the deadline. What key preparations have been completed so far to look forward to tomorrow?
Well, first of all, we set up a venue which we have communicated, and it has been prepared. It is our new home. The Electoral Commission acquired land in Makinde Sabagabo, that is in Lubowa Rweza area, to where the permanent offices of the Electoral Commission will be. So although the structures are not built, we say that we can level the ground and put on the tent and conduct our work from here, because that's home.
Right.
So that's where the exercise is going to be conducted from, and it has been prepared, it has been set. Access to this venue will be restricted to accredited persons only, and that includes the aspirants, because aspirants, as and when they are cleared and taken through the process, they are also required to submit to us the names of persons who will accompany them. And so the media and observers, as well as other concerned persons. So access is restricted to accredited persons, and Uganda Police has issued a traffic guidance for use of the road on that day, on these 2 days. The roads will not be closed, but traffic flow will be controlled. At one point, there will be some cutoffs to allow an aspirant to go through and then to open it up again to traffic. So you need to plan our journeys. And there is a traffic advisory in the papers today, as well as on our social media handles. So Munyonyo Express Highway all the way to Kajansi and all those areas coming all this way to Lubowa, all these areas will be affected, but there will definitely be traffic control, so that as much as possible there is also movement, because there are no more working days.
Right.
So but in terms of our readiness, yes, we've set up teams that conduct the verification. The verification of supporter signatures has been ongoing for the last maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, it continues today, and the preparation of facilities for nominated candidates. A candidate who is nominated is given a security detail, because now this is a presidential candidate. They're given a pickup truck with a convoy, a lead vehicle, which has security, so that as they move around their campaigns, they are accorded security. And also, you know, this is now, when we nominate these candidates, this is a presidential material now. This is someone who can be a president of the country.
Right.
And so they are secured in that way, according to the law. Then, of course, accreditation of observers has been done, and we are issuing out their tags today. But also, over the two-day period, we will be updating the country on the progress of the exercise, as well as addressing emerging issues. Because, like you know, those who collected forms were in 200 plus. Those who have returned are in the 30s. Those who are moving towards closer to present themselves to us are even fewer. But we think that they will progress through today, so that they can go and present themselves tomorrow to us. We issued a clear guideline on the requirements, and it's a detailed document. The nomination form has areas that have to be ticked off. Oath to swear, I'm a true citizen of Uganda, I'm law-abiding, I do not have, you know, such and such records, you know, the oath that you swear. I agree to consent to the nomination I'm not forced to contest this. You know, consent is very, very important.
Right.
So then the other requirements, I'm the flag bearer, these are my documents, and then proof of payment of nomination fee of 20 million shillings. And then, of course, the most important being the proposer and the seconder. They're very, very important to us. So candidates aspirants will approach us with a small convoy, a small, group of 20 people, including the candidate themselves. So we're looking at the candidates, second and proposer, and 17 other people who are going to be issued with only 2 stickers, car stickers. And that's why we're advising that people coming in should use minibuses because they can carry the number that we require. Of course, the law also talks about a person who is an aspiring and who is occupying the office of the President of Uganda. That one, the law is very clear. It talks about such an aspirant being entitled to using the facilities that are ordinarily attached to their office of the President. But for purposes of our nomination venue, inside the business, it is still 20 persons per aspirant, including the candidate aspirant who is president. And that's the interim candidate, because they booked the first day, 10 o'clock.
Right. Right. Yeah. Now, with all the requirements and guidelines stated, are there those that you expect some candidates to skip and still come up with some form of accusations towards the EC?
No, I don't know. We launched the roadmap 2 years ago.
Right.
So everyone should really be ready for that.
Because I mean, just looking at what you've just shared, we've just talked about with NUP, these are, like you've rightfully stated, that these are guidelines that are given to them, examples are shared, and then after a while, because according to NUP, they handed in signatures earlier, one of the first of the 11 that handed in, and even handed in more than required, and it was a shock that you brought back
which is why not all was returned. We just said in this area you need to top up.
Yes, so are there those guidelines you're sure some will be skipped and you're ready to help and guide?
I'm sorry if you don't fulfill the requirements for nomination to that, then I think that is it.
Right.
That's the end of the journey for you.
Right.
Otherwise, it is, for the case we've just discussed, it is, which is why we say don't politicize, and that's why we didn't reject the said. We just say that you need to top up in these areas. So, and like I've told you, and I can say it confidently, I'm based at the Electoral Commission. I saw that all the people informed were willing, and they moved immediately to comply. So I wouldn't want to be really taken off track by the sound bites we had, because this is something that happens. Even if it is one entry, you are less, you are 99, it's supposed to be 100. You always tell that, and I've shared briefly here. There are some of the reasons why an entry can still be rejected when it is very, very... I'm a registered voter, but I've probably supported already an aspirant. And you know, these returns have come in over a period of time. And like I've told you, almost 30 returns, 30 aspirants returning. And we're on a system. Everyone is entering a particular aspirant. And as a name is entered, it is blocked on the system. So it is possible. I wouldn't want to go back through the entire thing, but if someone fails to satisfy the requirements for nomination for this elective position, then it is because of lack of preparedness on their part, not the Electoral Commission. Because the roadmap was issued 2 years ago, we still hear people who are talking about the education qualifications, but you knew that, and this is not the first time that we're holding presidential elections. We're hearing aspirants reaching out that the number of districts is too high, you should reduce, but that's in the law, and the guideline was clear when you picked it. So I think it talks more about the readiness of the other aspirants than the Electoral Commission, because we're following what is in the law, and we issued it in time, and I think it should be, those who are compliant will go through. Those who do not meet the requirements definitely will stop at that point.
Right. Now, for candidates who will be dissatisfied with the nomination process, what does the law require them to do? Does it end there, or is there a further process to take?
No, an aspirant has a right to challenge the conduct or even the outcome of the nomination process. They are within their right. if at one point you feel dissatisfied that your presidential bid has not been handled well and you have grounds for that, you can raise a complaint. First to the Electoral Commission, of course. You can say, I'm appealing to the Commission, I object to ABCD, or I have such and such a complaint. Or it is within your right to do that. And of course, there are other means of, you know, if you're not satisfied with how the Electoral Commission has had and determined your matter, you can go to courts of law. So we are not above the law. Our decisions can be challenged in courts of law in accordance with the electoral laws and within the period of time that is prescribed for that particular, because you can't hold the process, it is a 2-day exercise by law. Mm-hmm. So you can't say that like we've had, and I think maybe we don't need to take some of those seriously, and we say, no, you should give it more days so that we were able to collect everything we need. So if you're to do that, then you'll not have nominations, because someone may need 3 months actually to collect signatures.
Right. So in other words, it's up to one.
And the constitutional timeline for the election is 12th January.
Right.
So if you did not prepare yourself well for an elective position that requires so much, then maybe you need to look back and say, what can I go for if I'm not able to take on this?
Right, 0709602592 WhatsApp and be a part of the conversation. You did talk about the accreditation of those who are supposed to be a part of this exercise from tomorrow into Wednesday. And observers are some of the people you're accrediting are independent observers, part of the group accepted.
Yeah, we sent out last October, we sent out an invite for applications to be accredited as observers, to observe the electoral process, which includes, of course, the nominations. So we have reached out to stakeholders and invited them to observe the nomination process. And we have issued accreditation. Accreditation tags will be collected starting today from our center at Nikan Resort, which is also near Reza there. So it is, of course, this nomination exercise is restricted to unaccredited persons, like I mentioned. But some of the invited persons actually include national and international observers, members of the diplomatic corps, all registered political parties invited, key partner ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as, you know, we have what we call civil society organizations. The media has been also accredited to observe and cover this. So we think that it is a process that needs to be out there in transparent process, and those will represent the rest of us to witness that. So that's about accreditation. Yes, right. It is open to observation by those accredited persons.
Right. Now this conversation has to come to a close, and as we leave room for the sports update with Ruben, but what would your parting shots be? One, to candidates who hope to be nominated tomorrow and Wednesday, but also to the electorate, the supporters of these candidates. How should we conduct ourselves in order to maintain the expected result?
Well, we want to appeal to all persons involved in this process to follow the procedure that we've laid out. We have guided on how to access the nomination center. We've also issued the accreditation credentials, so we should follow that. Traffic police has issued an advisory. Let's follow it up so that we do not, you know, so that it moves smoothly. But we've also reached out to aspiring candidates, and I want to emphasize that please, campaigns don't start at the nomination venue. They don't start on nomination day. So we've said no to processions because no more traffic, no more work has to continue. But we've also advised that a person who has been nominated can actually do a manifesto launch. They can meet their supporters at a place they have organized outside our venue, and the notified police about, so that it is they you know, they are Bagole, you know, they can go and meet their supporters and say, hey, here we are, this is what we'll be doing. Campaigns start on the 29th, so until then, no campaign meetings. We're also calling for calm, and because this is a nomination, and there's there's a lot that we will have to continue doing. On top of after this exercise, there's a lot we'll be continuing to do. So life should not stop at this, and we don't need to make it a chaotic affair. Let's follow the guidelines that have been issued, and then we'll follow it to the end.
Right.
And that's what we want to share with the public this morning.
Right. I wonder what you would tell Saleh, who gets in touch and says that, good morning, Uganda, I am Saleh. But even though they bring in observers as the EC, what Mr. Paul Bukenya is saying is not really right, because according to Saleh, the EC is one-sided. So now there are many Ugandans who have the same mindset as Saleh. What would you tell them?
Well, Saleh has a definition of one-sided, and I think it's a view that he has. I don't know what exactly means by that, but I think our exercises are open to all. That's why this election is contested, because I think there are people already coming up to do that. But also Saleh and others like him are the ones who decide. So we have organized the election, and I think Saleh needs to have a positive attitude and come and participate and make his voice heard.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't have much to say, because I'm not sure that I'm really one-sided, because I've opened up to everyone to come into this.
Right.
And
thank you very much.
Allow me to say just one more word.
Please.
Right here at UBC. Yes. Way back, there's a lady who worked here at Radio Uganda, and she mentored so many of us. And she rested over the weekend. Teddy Mugote, also a great mentor from Radio Uganda here. Also former deputy spokesperson, Electoral Commission. Want to celebrate her.
Right.
Because as we go through this, as I do my work, I remember someone who mentored me from all the way Radio Uganda here.
Right.
So members of the PRR community, the media world, we are celebrating your life, Teddy Mugote. Thank you for serving. Thank you for being a wonderful communicator. All the way from Radio Uganda, UBC, to the Electoral Commission, and mentoring people like me.
Right.
We want to celebrate that.
May you rest in peace indeed, Teddy Mugote. And at least your prints have remained just like that of Mr. Paul Bukenya.
Thank you.
Good morning, Uganda. That has been it for the agenda. Ruben is coming up with the sports update. Good morning, Uganda does continue. But for me, let's do this again tomorrow. And good morning. Be blessed.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.